Hello everyone, this is the 2023 LEGO Ninjago set Jay's Titan Mech. It comes with 794 pieces and I built it live over on my Twitch channel. I paid $80 US for this, 80, and if you're interested in it, you can find it tagged on the video. Set has 5 regular minifigures, a quote-unquote Woobot, and a side build for the bad guys. The mech itself stands about 11 inches, 29 centimeters tall at the head, not including other stuff that hangs off. And it does have 3 swords. So you got 2 over here that are presently sheathed, and you can put those in the hands. And you've got this one larger one here. Each of those can be used one hand at a time. It's got a nice blade piece used for the end here. And it also has the most modern kind of replacement for the old competition cannon system from Technic, a very, very good projectile system. But these are the ones that are system based. So they have studs around them, studs and anti-studs. They're easy to load. They're fairly accurate. They work pretty well with the medium soft tip, like rubber tipped projectiles, and just the red buttons on the top to cause them to fire. We'll look into articulation and how you can aim everything in a minute, but just generally the overall build of this looks fairly consistent with the use of blue and white, a little bit of black and gray coming in there, which is perfectly fine, but I'm happy to not see a bunch of other different colors around the back especially. Little bits, but it's fine. I'm surprised at how much white actually made it into the color scheme of something that's designed for Jay, but it works. One of the most striking things about this visually and unusual and unique for Lego stuff is this kind of hairpiece that comes off the back of the head. It's like a braided top knot long thing. I mean, it doesn't really do anything. It's just for looks. Maybe there's you can either come up with, or maybe the designers have an idea for what it would represent, an antenna or something. But I mean, the designers put it here just for the looks, and I think it's good. This does use some stickers. It does, and I think those stickers are useful. Those stickers remind me a lot of Exoforce in the best way. Some of the best stuff about Exoforce, some of the graphic design work that they did there. But the first impression is very strong on this. I'm not worried about it falling down right now, and part of the reason for that is something that a lot of people won't like. They do not have articulation at the ankle forward and back. The ankles are almost locked forward and back. You can twist them slightly. You can also angle them in and out this way. So if you splay the legs out farther, I'll move the arms out of the way, splay the legs. Actually, I can bring the legs in straight. There we go. So now those can be flat, although that's very, very narrow. I can splay one leg out, keeps both feet flat, and it has no risk of falling down. I thought there was one more click, but no, that's actually it. That's as far as it'll go. So limited motion in the legs for the sake of lack of frustration. I personally, at least, do not like to see a ton of articulation that makes something super frustrating, especially for a toy. If it was specifically an 18+ thing where it's all about the looks and creating the most dynamic poses possible to sit on the shelf collecting dust, that's another thing. But this is designed primarily as a toy, and it should not be frustrating to play with. And it shouldn't take a whole lot of time and a whole lot of dexterity and experimentation to be able to get it to just stand. This is fine, although I do wish that the knee articulation was more useful. There is knee articulation there. There's a fair amount of it, but let's see, what can we actually do with it? We can do some things. Kneecaps can move as well. I'm trying to find just that one spot in there. Yeah, okay, there we go. This has some stability to it. That's actually not bad. All things considered, again, no forward to rear articulation at the ankle, but this looks like it's dynamic. This looks like it's moving. So even though I'm not able to really take advantage, and yeah, that started to slide, but then it stopped. Take advantage of some of the joints that should be able to move more. That's an incredibly dynamic pose for the legs themselves. So you've got some range. You've got some stuff that realistically you can do with this, especially as a toy, and even for the folks who are way too old to be in the target market for this. No shame, just saying how it is. You can still have fun with it. You can still do some more advanced things, some more grown-up play type stuff. The elbows have the ratchet joints with the double connections there. Those are pretty strong. especially for something that's not particularly heavy here. You know, these arm builds aren't that significant. The large sword has some weight to it, but it's not that many pieces. Really doesn't add up that much. There's a ball joint at the elbow here, blue colored socket piece in here to match the color scheme. You got a little bit of bending, you know, you got a little bit of options in here, but for the most part, it's up and down. But you know, it's nice to have a little bit of extra option, and this being able to rotate and go in and out is good. So you can do some stuff with that. As far as loading up the cockpit, you see I've put Jay in there. He does have a little bit of a windscreen, almost a suggestion that they were trying to keep his head from being easily snipeable, but not quite, not quite. It needs to be standing up. I want to see the head protected. I want to see the face protected from headshots, from snipers on these things. The actual mech's head is fairly simple, but I think the sizing of it is good. Again, the graphic design work is very nice on this. And, forgot to mention, these things can be completely, sorry, it's a little bit awkward to maneuver around here, but these things can be completely moved around. Way more range of motion than these need to have, and that's good. That is not a complaint. These can even shoot backwards for defense, you know, if it's in a run and being pursued, including from the air and stuff. So yeah, a lot of good things have been done here design-wise. Smart things, sensible things that feel good and are not frustrating to deal with. You've got plenty of room for both of these swords, so they're not getting in the way. And the way that the hands are designed, you do have some movable fingers, just the two here and the thumb here, which can be moved around, but they have a focus right here on the pin piece, and that pin will connect to the hilts there or there, and the same thing has happened over here. So that's basically creating the most secure joint possible while not being difficult to just do this, to just remove a weapon, to change it out. You know, it's a really good, simple, effective system. This is just a lot of smart design. Oh, and one of the things that helps with the feet is the inclusion of these two friction pads down here, just at the heels. So it's able to still slide around too much. It doesn't get caught on surfaces too much, but there is enough friction that it's not going to start sliding away when you start to put it into action poses and things. I also happen to just like the designs of these feet. They look like sneakers. They're simple, but they're kind of cool. One last detail thing here related to the cockpit. It's a little bit more difficult to get the figure in and out here. You do have to remove stuff from him. Can't have it can't have anything in his hands, of course, can't have his sword on the back. And yeah, it's just a little bit of a tight fit, much better for younger, smaller fingers to fit in there, but a little bit of a tighter fit than usual. The only other real build in the set is this bad guy's semi-automatic working ballista. It almost looks like these would have been flick-fire missiles, but here they've got just a bending 1x2 bushing piece, the rubber piece, and what you do is just push down on this, let it go, and these individual projectiles will fly out. So, oops, there we go. And it automatically loads itself with the clip just falling down. Here are Jay and Nia, plus the so-called WooBot, and I say so-called or quote-unquote because obviously it's presently being controlled or at least inhabited for the sake of communication by Pixel. So I would call it a Pixel bot personally, but you know, it is what it is. You can see what it is, and it does have a couple of spare weapons on there if you wanted to use those. We've seen these figures before, so there's nothing really additional to see as far as their prints and everything are concerned, but I personally think they look pretty good. And this is a print here, not a sticker. Here on the left is the Bone King, and here's either a Bone Hunter or the Bone Hunter. Different heads for these. The Bone King in particular has a unique head and nice printing going all the way down to the toes, but you get good printing over here as well. They have a full set of the bone weapons included with each of these sets. Anytime you see one of these things, you will see all of them. The rest of them are going to be in the spares right now. And I did have to take the cape off to show you this excellent print on the back of the torso, which most of the time you're not going to see. Finally, here's a Bone Knight who's set up as a bannerman as well. This one's a little bit difficult to get to stand up because of all of that extra weight, which is a little bit to the rear of the center of gravity, but get the figure to lean forward a little bit and it works. You got the cattle skull there in the red color. Otherwise, the build for that is pretty straightforward and it does work. Here's another one of the bone weapons. And here's what the figure looks like with all that stuff removed. So you can just see the prints, the The spring green color for the print on the head definitely could have been more opaque. It's a little bit on the pale, thin side. Lots of extra and leftover pieces here, so hit pause if you need to look at those. I'm going to bring in the sticker sheet as well, so a fair number of stickers, most of them medium sized as well. The price of $80 US, 80 euros or 70 pounds UK does not feel repulsive to me on this. I think it's about what I expect in a post the past few years world, honestly, for this amount of stuff. The design is really good. That's the most important thing to me. It's substantive. It looks good on display, even though it's a toy made for kids. It's something that I think kids who are beyond the fair deal beyond the low end of its target age range can appreciate as well, all the way up to adults. I think it looks respectable enough. It's definitely lacking articulation, and it's very clear to me that compromises were made for the sake of convenience and stability and easier play. Removing frustration. I would love to see the ability to rotate the arms in and out and the legs in and out, and definitely at least one more axis of mobility at the ankles. But it definitely would have hurt this. It would have made it a worse product, a worse toy for the kids that it's made for. Better for me and people like me, but I know that I'm the hyper minority here. Folks like me are the hyper minority of folks who buy sets like this. And it's fine for us to like these things, and it's fine for us to critique them from our own perspectives, but I have to focus on critiquing this from the perspective of who it's actually made for. I think for who it's made for, it's really good. And beyond, even. Overall, yeah, value, not too bad. Of course, always, if anything can go on sale, you know, many regions, especially over in Europe, get instant sales the moment something is released. It's a completely different world over there. I'm completely not used to that, but that's great, you know, for folks who can get deals like that immediately. Great for folks who have to pay more all the time, like out in the Pacific. It sucks. Down in South America, it sucks. It is what it is, but the base price for this, I think, is reasonable. And again, design is nice. The figures are fine too. Side build. Obviously, they did not have a whole lot of leftover budget when they came up with this side build, and that's fine, because the figures themselves are good. Balances out well enough. That's about it for my thoughts. I have a lot more sets to build on YouTube, on my main channel, and over on my Twitch channel as well. Find the links in the video description and or on the main channel page. And of course, I'll continue to bring you more reviews right here. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.